Someone is raising hand. Is it the new one or old one?
Yeah.
You can ask. Okay. Go
Yes,
ahead.
I have a question, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so my first question is for the nodes as the worker node. Then we have different. We have I think we have ports inside the node. Let's say the first worker node. Then yeah, so we have ports. So inside those ports now we have multiple containers. So I want to ask, like, what's your advice? How many containers? What's the least container that should be in a pod, right? Like, what's the best? Best. Number of containers that's supposed to be in a pod. And if we want to have multiple containers, right? So why should I do that? If I want to have multiple containers in a pod, why should I do that? What's the reason for that? That's my first question. Then secondly, for Docker, because when I was going through the course, Docker has its own, like, a lot of complexities around it. It has its own security, it has its own networking, it has its own, like, just like you having your own normal operating system, even though it's not operating system, like, but it's having a lot of file system that's, as around it. So my question now is, if we are using Kubernetes to manage our containers, I will still like care. Do you still need to care about the security for the containers, the networking for the containers, or Kubernetes, which will do all those things for us? So yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So let me go back to sharing again. Now I will explain to you. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. So your first question, I answered that earlier. I will repeat it. So the best practice is you have just a container in a pod. But most time you can have 2 containers, you can have 3, you can have 7, and you can have 10. It depends. So some services are all being containerized together, especially maybe when you are using OpenShift. You put in many containers in a single pod, but most recommended is one pod in a container. I think that answers your first question. And your second question is we are talking about Docker, right? It's security and code. So one thing I want you to note here is we don't install Docker in this node. We only have container runtime. So that means we just have what is enough to run a container. Not like we have to install container on the node and Docker on the node and we start using it. No, we only need, it's just like these application packages that we just install the package. Maybe you just app install Node.js. Just the package enough for it to run that application. So this is not really a container that we have here. It's a container runtime that is enough to run in the container. So I mentioned earlier that you can use any, you can use Docker, you can use Podman, you can use Creo. You can use Creo also. Those are what you call the container runtime. So you can use anyone. So that's why you see that you can use Podman. You have the same command with Docker. You can use Docker, you can use Creo. So mostly in OpenShift, they use Podman and Creo. They use Docker also. So it's just like a container runtime. It's like what is enough to run a container in that pod. So it's going to be in this node. So once this container runtime is like it has a baseline that once you have this like a foundation that you can now build on it. So that foundation, what we call the container runtime, is just what is enough to run a container. I hope I'm able to answer your question.
Yes, I don't know for the second one, but yes, not totally clear to me though.
Okay, what is not clear then?
So
So
it's okay. You said it's runtime, like the container in those ports. their container runtime. So that means
Mhm.
they are being automatically generated, if I'm correct. Not like I don't know how I'm going to put it.
Just like
So,
what?
sir,
I'm hearing, I'm listening to you.
yeah. So no, like what I actually asked before was like because I know that yes, container they have their networking security, blah blah blah. So that's what I'm asking if we don't need that, which you are trying to explain, which I get. So that's why I'm still like confused a bit. Is it that those since this thing is being created by Kubernetes, whatever, that means that everything is still underlined inside the Kubernetes. So like you have to manage each container.
So you are not. So Kubernetes, like I say, is the automation of
Mm,
your container. Mm? So whatever you are using to run your container, if you are using Podman to run your container, right, it will create the, it's like you want to install an engine. Do you understand? It's a container engine. So it's going to bring the container engine here so that that engine can start a container. So just like you have a car, you have an engine in the car, right? So that engine is what will start the car and we let it to start moving. If you have a car and you don't have that engine, your car will not move, right? So that is the exact thing that is happening. So this container runtime, this Kubler will look for the container runtime. Like if you are using Volvo and they give you a Tesla engine, you know it will not work. It might work, there might be some issue, right? With it, maybe you're using electric and you're using normal combustion engine. Do you get my point? So it's going to run this engine. Which one? Which container are you trying to run? Is it a Docker container, a Podman container, or CRIO container that you are trying to run? So it's going to create the engine. This is just like the container runtime, the engine in the node, so that you can able to start this maybe Docker container or a Podman container in this port.